Hello my friends who are listening to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review from 90 Day Fiancé. And guys, I'm sorry, but today I've got an awful lot to get off my chest. The guy we're going to be talking about today is grinding my gears, and he started this process right off the bat. It seems to me that he's a gaslighting aficionado, and we're going to talk at length about each and every time he's gaslighted his partner this episode. Yes, that's right, you've got it. We're talking about Rob and Sophie. Yes, it's 90 Day Fiancé, Season 10, Episode 3. Yeah, I'm disappointed to say, Rob's hit the trifecta, gaslighting, idiocy and toxicity, all wrapped up in one little pint-sized gremlin. Yes, this is the problem with Rob, and we've got a lot to get into, but before we do, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel, and an even bigger thanks in advance to everyone that's about to do it now, or even now. Come on guys, what are you waiting for? Smash the big red button, make Ebird a very happy Ebird, and I'll get on with what I do best, chatting shit on the internet. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy my video, don't forget to smash the like button, and also please share on your social media. Thanks guys. Right, so without further ado, I give you Rob and Sophie. Okay, I don't even know where to start, there's so much. Put quite simply, Rob is a fucktard. Now I think I'll start just by rewinding back a couple of episodes. We need a little bit of context, and I'd just like to remind you of this.
I got a call from Sophie and she said there's an account that's messaged her and said, look what your boyfriend's been doing, and he'd sent sexual videos of himself.
Okay, so sexual videos of himself. Bear that in mind, and bear in mind that Sophie found out about Rob's cheating because the other woman actually found her and messaged her to tell her all about it. As you do. Gosh, these kids. Anyway, back to the present. And guys, I'm extremely worried because ever since Sophie has landed in America, there's been one problem after another. And the very first red flag, as far as I'm concerned with regard to Rob, is this.
Stop.
Very confused. What is going on? Okay.
Everybody got eyes on Google. Look a little hot, maybe we should hit the pool. And if it gets chilly, we can take it to the room. And I can turn the heater wearing the shoe.
Oh, good lord, guys. There are 3-year-olds on TikTok who've got better skills than Rob. And guys, there is just so much wrong with this. Firstly, Rob was proud of himself. He thought he did well. Secondly, he did this not just in public, that's bad enough, but he did this on international TV. Oh, how very dare you. This guy here knew to make a quick exit. He swerved the whole scenario. But what actually tops it all is the fact that he went to his friend to actually learn that dance, guys. Somebody taught him that dance. I literally can't. And I guess the only redeeming thing about this whole embarrassing escapade was the fact that a few moments later, Rob actually asked Sophie to marry him. They're already engaged, but apparently she asked the first time, so this time round he decided to make it official with a ring. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hold on to that moment because that's Rob's one and only redeeming moment. It's all downhill from here on. So anyway, after the proposal, the couple go back to Rob's apartment in the not so great area of Inglewood, California. Now Rob has described this as the ghetto, and I had several comments, I think the last video, and people were saying the area's not that bad, and that the Ebird's giving it a bad rap. I'm not giving it any rap. The truth be told, I've only heard of Inglewood on 90s hip-hop tracks, so in fact, it's the rappers giving it a bad rap, and not me. But guys, if you like it, I love it. Anyway, the couple get into the lift, and it promptly breaks down. And the couple start bickering and blaming each other. Sophie says to Rob, it's your fault because you pressed the button like 1,000,000 times. And Rob said, no I didn't, I pressed it once, and they go back and forth over this. But I've got to say, Sophie, even if I pressed the button 1 gazillion effing times, the lift should not lock me in. If that is the case, this is the design fault to end all design faults. I don't think it's Rob's fault at all, and I have got to say, it does seem as if Alicia Otis actually created this elevator himself. I reckon it was the original prototype. Yeah, it's a little bit old. But finally they do get out of the elevator, but I've got to say, this is a sign of things to come. These guys will bicker on and on over anything. They didn't just leave the elevator argument there. They continued it. Guys, I'm not saying this argument went on too long, but human fucking civilization finished in the middle of it. Straight afterwards, Sophie decided to use the elevator again, and it worked properly. And when she informed Rob of this, guess what he said?
Where are you? I'm on floor 4. I used the elevator properly like a normal person and it worked. What? Why are you angry at me? Why are you angry at me?
Did you catch that? He said, I can't stand you. And guys, do you know what? I actually believe him. I don't think he does like her. I think he likes what she represents, but not her. And later on to production, they were still going on about it. Rob was viscerally annoyed by the whole situation. And so the next bit of discourse we have is about the area in which Rob lives, Inglewood. And Sophie asked Rob, is it safe here? And Rob seemed really annoyed, and he said, I've only heard shootings twice in the 3 years I've lived here. And Sophie explains that she thinks that's quite a lot. And Rob says he doesn't understand what the big deal is. He said, yeah, there's a bullet hole in the window, but who cares? But guys, he gets really annoyed. You can sort of see his face twitching because she thinks it's the hood and the ghetto, and he doesn't think it's that bad. But then she points out to him, well, we watch hood movies together, and you say, oh, that's right around the corner from where I live. Don't show me these movies then. And guys, I make her right. But even though she stayed there before, and so she knew where she was going to, he had promised that he'd move by the time the visa came through and she was ready to move over, but he basically hasn't got his shit together, and he's still in the same apartment. And as they walk in, he's tidied up, allegedly. But Sophie's face falls. But Rob starts pointing out areas of improvement in the apartment. Apparently he's painted the walls, and he's bought her a gaming table, so the couple can game together. But to production, Rob makes it quite clear that he's irritated by Sophie's wish to move to a nicer apartment.
I wish I could give her more. I wish I had that already right now, but I don't. So I'm gonna move forward and just stay positive and let that that negativity and judgment kind of like, off the shoulders. I'm not gonna let that get to me.
And while Rob's trying to reel us in with the whole, I wish I could give her more, but I'm not going to let her negativity wear me down, he forgets he has no inside toilet in the apartment. You have to walk outside every time you want to go to the loo, even at the dead of night. But anyway, he has organised quite a nice little meal in the little courtyard they have, so that was quite sweet. And so they bicker a bit more over dinner, and then they go to bed. And so guys, this brings us up to this week. And the next time we meet up with this couple, we first see Sophie in the outside toilet, attempting to put on her makeup. She moans once more about the outside bathroom. Oh, and guys, there's just one more thing.
And it smells really bad in here, which doesn't help.
But Rob has smoked for Sophie, and he said to production, I'm not going to admit that bathroom is so inaccessible. Well, you don't need to admit it, Rob. We can all see it. It's not normal to have an outside bathroom. Just tell her you're working on moving, like you did before. And guys, as we're going to see a little bit later on today, he is working on moving. He's a man with a plan, but rather unsurprisingly, this plan doesn't involve him doing, well, any work at all. And so later on, the couple are laying on the bed, and Sophie said that she had to put her shoes on and go out to the toilet at 3 a.m. the previous evening. But Rob's not having any of it. Just what is it that this prima donna wants?
We don't have a bathroom in here. It's not the first place ever. You used to houses in Dubai and London and Spain and all this other bougie-ass stuff.
Wait, what? Guys, can anybody tell me what is bougie about having an indoor bathroom? He's literally sitting there trying to gaslight her, acting as if a normal natural want that I'd say probably 95 or even more % of America has, i.e. an indoor toilet, that she's bougie for wanting it. Now Rob's 32 or 33, I don't recall, and this girl's 21. And I think the reason that he's chosen somebody this young is so that he can more effectively gaslight her into accepting lower standards. And he's also trying to indemnify himself against having to, get an actual job and provide an average standard of living. And as if to illustrate this point, the very next thing that Rob said was, I want to bring you down a little bit. I'm a really down-to-earth person. Rob, existing in the bottom 5 percentile doesn't mean you're down to earth. And I've got to say, when I first saw Sophie and she was, shopping and so on, and saying that she went to private school and she had a really nice upbringing, I thought maybe she is a little princess, maybe she is a bit spoiled. Although her extensions seem to tell a different story, but I digress. It turns out this is very far from the truth, because later on Sophie told us that when she was about 17, I think, or 18, she moved out of home. She got herself a waitressing job, and she got herself an apartment, and ever since then, she's been paying her own rent in entirety. So in fact, she doesn't live on handouts from her rich family. And so I think if you're lucky enough to be born very rich, but you're standing on your own 2 feet, nobody can accuse you of being bougie or being spoiled or being a princess or not being down to earth. I do actually think she seems quite a grounded girl. I can tell you one thing, Rob, you would not catch me in that apartment in Inglewood. And not really just because of the apartment or the area, but mainly because of the outside toilet. And so if Sophie really was bougie, she would have absolutely jogged you on. But Rob is definitely trying to shut down this talk.
The when are we moving talk is gonna get old real quick. It's basically her telling me about how I'm inadequate, and I don't like that feeling at all. You know, she's used to her family paying her rent and being like, okay, you can move into the new spot now. Like, that's not how it works anymore.
Rob, you cannot shut down a conversation with lies. Her family do not say, here we go, here's the new spot, you can move in now. She pays her own rent and bills, and she has done for the last 4 or 5 years. You know that good and well. The only reason you're trying to pretend something different is so that you can portray her to the viewers as someone who wants you to provide what she can't provide for herself. She can. And you talk about you feeling inadequate, that's on you. I think they're your feelings. And guys, it's just so toxic of him to keep repeating the same lie again and again, just so that he can paint the girl he allegedly loves in a bad light. And so the next time we see this couple, they're visiting Venice Beach. And as they walk along the beach hand in hand, Sophie remarks that she'd like to live on the beach. And she said, how much are these apartments here? And Rob then looked at his phone and he said apartments here are about $25,000 a month. What? $25,000 a month for an apartment? I'm sure there are some at that price, but I'm pretty certain that Rob went to the top of the search and put in most expensive apartments. Why don't you do what you usually do, Rob, and start at the bottom? And so I decided to do what I do best. I got my fingers to tap in, and I researched properties on Venice Beach. And lo and behold, what do I discover? I'm only clicking on beachside apartments, and the cheapest one is a studio for $1,700 a month. And then we have ones for $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500. I haven't seen one for $25,000 yet. I'm sure there is one. But Rob, as per usual, you've gone right to the top end, just so that you can prove your point. This is unaffordable. The average person could never live here. There's quite a lot of people that do pay rents of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. My friend's just moved back to New York, and she's paying $7,000 for a 2-bed apartment. And whilst I do think that's quite expensive, especially when you compare it to London, people do pay a lot for rent in America. And it's spiralled since COVID. It's a well-known fact. Although it has to be said, my friend is called Moneybags Marie. I'm not lying, that's her nickname. But anyway, if they decided to get a 1-bed, such as this one, and they were both working, it's definitely affordable. But nevertheless, Rob's open to moving here. And like I said earlier, he's a man with a plan, and here's that plan.
I don't know, like if you really, really wanted to live there, you could try to ask for help. That's up to you. If not, we can stay in Inglewood.
What? So a 32-year-old man wants his 21-year-old girlfriend to ask her parents to pay for a beachside apartment for the both of them. And Sophie explains she's not about that life at all. And she said in no uncertain terms that she finds it irritating when Rob consistently asks her to ask her parents for money because she wants to be self-sufficient. She doesn't want to be that rich little girl that has to tell people she lives on handouts from her family. And guys, I'm beginning to suspect that part of the reason that Rob likes Sophie and is with her is so that he can have her rich family fund his lifestyle. He wants to play about dancing and doing bits of modelling and bits of God knows whatever he does. And he certainly doesn't want to get a full-time job.
And I'll never ask them. Like, I'll never be like, hey, give me some money. Like, I've never asked them for anything. And that's just because I think it's important to be, like, independent.
And guys, I like this about Sophie. She hasn't tried to find a rich guy to live off, and nor has she tried to get money from her family. She likes the fact that she's independent, and she even said to Rob, well, when I get my green card and I can start working, then we can both put in for the rent. Oh, Sophie, my love. I'm not sure this relationship's going to last all the way to the green card point, but I guess we'll see. But then, guys, things take a turn for the worse. Rob's looking at his phone and Sophie looks over, and Rob said, you're all in my phone? Rob, she's not all in your phone. She's looking at your phone. He made it out as if she'd waited till he went to the outside loo and grabbed his phone and scrolled through it. That's not the case. You're walking along, and she glances over at it. But your reaction, well, it speaks 1,000 words.
Whoa.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Wait,
It's
who's
just
that?
some random page I follow. Not somebody I follow. It's just some random page.
That's crazy.
I put my phone out and this random post by some page that posts random stuff basically posted a girl in a Dora the Explorer outfit.
Oh, guys, it's just all random. He said random so much that you know it's obviously not random, it's specific. And he tells us that Sophie's really jealous, and she admits that in fact she is, but she kind of has a reason to be. Guys, all above the gaslighting train. And Rob begins in earnest. And first up, he said, didn't you meet me online? Yes, she did, when she was single. And honestly, I kind of feel for Sophie in this situation. It kind of seems like Rob's just following random girls that post racy content. But she lets production know she's tried to move past him online cheating previously, but she finds it very difficult, and this is bringing all those feelings back. So she decides to speak to Rob about it. But as soon as she brings it up, he says the following.
When are you going to let it go?
What the actual fuck? When's she gonna let it go? When you take responsibility for your actions? And guys, it would seem that's not today, because he said, you're acting like I cheated. I definitely didn't cheat. It was just one time. This one random girl, there we have it again guys, random, started texting me. And this whole thing only lasted one day. Hell, it only lasted 1 hour. And guys, according to him, some girl texted him and then she started sending nudes. And then he responded. Although he doesn't say how he responded, we already know, Rob. You sent pictures of your own dirty balls right back. And then she contacted Sophie and told Sophie all about it. That's Rob's sworn testimony. And guys, I've never heard such a crock of crap. How likely is it that somebody that you don't know wants to stitch you up so badly that they call you and within an hour they send nudes and you then send nudes? And then in that same hour, this girl roots around your social media, discovers you're seeing somebody called Sophie, contacts Sophie, and then sends them your nudes just to cause trouble. It's much more likely that you were going back and forth for a number of days or even weeks or even months. And because you were being kind of offhand with her, she thought, I think you've got a girlfriend. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and F it up for you. That's more likely. I don't know what this other girl would get out of not knowing you previously, but trying to split up your relationship. What would be the point? And guys, I'd love for you to put in comments down below how you think it went down, or if you think it possibly could have gone down as Rob's describing. The sexters among you, do you sext people? Do you send racy content of yourself to somebody within an hour? Guys, please let me know. But Rob's absolutely resolute that this doesn't amount to cheating. Rob, I'm absolutely resolute that yes, it does. If your significant other is sending video of themselves undertaking sexual acts, it is cheating. And guys, let's talk probability. I love doing this. What are the chances that the first ever time within the first hour he's ever even thought about sending racy content to a random girl, that random girl contacts Sophie, gets hold of her and sends the videos to her? What would be the probability that that's the case? Isn't it much more likely that he's been doing it willy-nilly? And this is just the first time he's actually gotten caught. But Rob's big mad now. He said, I didn't cheat. Stop playing with me. Rob, stop playing with yourself to other women online. You dirty bugger.
I did not cheat.
There's nothing
Stop
to take
playing
my
with me.
word
We're not
for
going
it.
to talk about it like I cheated because
Why are you getting
I'm not
angry
going to
at
live
me?
my life like I cheated on you.
Why
when
are
I
you
didn't.
getting angry at me?
Because I don't like that. Every time you try to act like that was cheating, that's bull because I haven't ever cheated on you.
Wow, just wow. The gaslighting's real. He's getting angry with her. He's shouting, he's raising his voice. And he's just basically denying what did happen. You did cheat. If that wasn't cheating, it would be fine to Sophie to go and do that to anyone that she wants to. Problem? Course there is. Because it's cheating. And Sophie's kicking back. And so Rob decides to gaslight in a slightly different way. And so he says, well, I don't know about you. I don't know if you cheated. And she said, when? He said, when you were on your dating app. And she said, no, I told you I was on an app to make friends. I've been on that app for years. Wherever I go worldwide, I try and make new friends there. I told you about this when I arrived in LA, just in case you saw it on my phone. And he said, well, my friend went onto the dating app and he saw you there. But really, Rob, if she'd already said to you, I'm on this app, I'm looking for friends, If you considered that to be a problem in the first instance, you would have said, get off the app, I don't like it. You didn't, and now you're deciding to use it to your advantage to try and wriggle out of what you have been caught doing. His friends saw her on the app. We can all see anybody anywhere. Did she respond to anybody? Did she sext anyone? Did she send anybody bracy videos? Did she attempt to meet anybody? It doesn't seem so because Rob's not saying so. So this is all just smoke and mirrors. And then he said, you've got one thing to worry about me, and I've got one thing to worry about you. Guys, that is not the same, and he knows it. And Sophie finishes up by saying, instead of Rob just saying, I'm sorry for what I did, he's trying to bring other things up. Well, if he does it again, it's going to be over, we'll be finished. And that's where we end things for this week. So what does the Ebird make to all of this? Well, there are so many problems I don't know where to begin. First he calls her a spoiled rich girl, and she's clearly proven that she isn't. She pays her own bills, and she works for a living. Also, he says he wants to bring her down to earth, as if she's up there in the heavens or in La La Land. She isn't. She lives quite a normal life, and she wants to build something with him, and she wants to work and get into a better apartment, one with an inside toilet. But he tries to gaslight her into believing that she's bougie and she wants far too much. And I honestly believe he's got with somebody so much younger than him so he can better manipulate her into believing that the way that he lives is somewhat normal. He's virtually saying, I'm not broke. Your expectations are just way too high. He doesn't seem to have any plans to make money outside of asking Sophie to ask her parents. And on the very first episode, Rob said, I want a girl who's amazing looking, and I got it. But now he has Sophie, so he can keep hold of her. He's setting about trying to break her, and he says he wants to humble her. Rob, you're already doing that just by the fact she's with you. And it would seem to me that Rob wants to be cheap and controlling. Rob, pick a struggle. He spends his time misrepresenting the situation in order to grasp at straws. And I believe that Rob got together with Sophie, not just because she was good looking, but he liked the whole rich girl persona that she had and that she shows on the internet. And I think he thought he was going to come up off Sophie's money. And you can really see it in his face that he resents Sophie for her travelling and her lifestyle and the places that she's lived and seen. He's not proud of Sophie. If he was, he'd be shouting from the rooftops that she doesn't ask for money and that she's self-sufficient. I think he's very jealous of Sophie and it oozes from his every pore. But anyway, guys, that's just me. What do you think? Do you think he's controlling? And do you think he's gaslighting her at every opportunity? He told her the apartments on Venice Beach were £25,000 a month, so he could clap her down and say, we'll never be able to afford that. Instead of looking around and thinking, what can we get for a decent amount? And if we work together, maybe we could live here. That's not his MO. I think he wants Sophie for her family's money. But let me know what you think down in comments, and I'll get on with my next video. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Hit it, press it, smash it, caress it. Subscribe, my friends, subscribe. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.